Good afternoon, Dallas and Fort Worth. This is Oscarmartinez. As always, today is Tuesday, May 6th, year 2014. And here we go with the top stories here today. First, we're going to start with some news here today, of course, here today, Tuesday. Obviously, the news stories we'll talk about them here in just a moment, eventually. So I'm pretty much getting ready to the point where I'm about to talk some local news here in just a moment here. And and this is how it stands around so far. So we'll start with local news, and then we'll continue on forward throughout the entire afternoon here. Temperatures every now and then in Dallas were 83 degrees under mostly partly cloudy skies. A beautiful day out there in the entirely Dallas Fort area. So we'll start in just a moment here. We'll start guessing with our crime news as always, because as like I said, this is a series of issues going on forward so far here. It's a beautiful day here today, May 6th, 2014, of course. But before we begin, we'll start talking about several top stories here today where we'll give our opinions about here in just a moment. So let's start with this story a couple years ago in 2012. This is a case that's kind of old. We'll talk about it here in just a moment. Obviously, also I'll talk more about, I'm guessing, wrestling. Also, I'll talk about WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view that happened this past Sunday on pay-per-view also. And I was watching, Monday Night Baseball last night. We'll get into that also too. Get into a whole bunch of things here today, Tuesday, as we begin our week here. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties here in just a moment. Okay, here we go. Well, we just had it right now here a while ago. We'll give it just a moment here. But this case was all happening here in our own very own backyard. So we'll start right now with some local news here. Tonight it's 1:55, getting close to that 2 o'clock hour. Hope everyone is having a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday afternoon. So here we go. Dallas, Texas. Police have charged a teen with murder after a 2012 kidnapping in which he shot an innocent driver. Anthony Hill is charged with the murder of Ryan Lusk, according to an affidavit. On March 8, 2012, Horace Jones Jr. kidnapped a woman at gunpoint in her car and forced her to drive through Dallas, where they were on Ellsworth Avenue. They saw Ryan Lusk and a woman sitting in his car. The affidavit still got Hill out of the stolen SUV. Silvick and walked up to Lusk's car and shot him. He was paralyzed from the waist down. More than a year, on November 19, 2013, Lusk died from his injuries. Jones confessed to police and told them Hill was responsible for the shooting. Plus, the kidnapped woman also previously identified Hill in a lineup. Hill's bill has been set at $50,000. Wow. Now, our next top story here, my dear friends and my dear fans here live on YouTube.com. This one is a sad story. This one is involving a toddler. A toddler who after we get to the age, we'll talk about it here today. And this happened eventually yesterday, Cinco de Mayo. A serious thing that's very much uncalled for here today, Tuesday. May 6th, year 2014. So here we go. Next top story here. Dallas, Texas. A Dallas father was arrested after a 911 caller reported seeing a child playing with a machete Friday inside the family's home. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties once again here. We'll just wait for just a moment here. Police said during a search home where they found a child in exquisite dangerous conditions. According to arrest warrant, a second caller reported an abandoned child on the same street Friday at the 1200 block of South Montreal. The caller told police the child was pushed out of the home, locked outside. Upon their arrival, officers knocked on the door for several minutes before a 3-year-old child covered in dirt answered the door. The warrant said officers then said they smelled a strong odor from the entryway of the home and could see trash and spoiled food inside the residence. Officers continued to walk further inside the home after they yelled out their presence several times. The warrant read as officers followed the toddler towards a bedroom inside the home. Officers spotted a weapon that matched the description given by the first 911 caller. In the hall adjoining the bedroom living room area where was a large machete, a style butcher knife with approximately 10 long blade and white handle. Police today found John Lara, 32 years old, and Carrie Hill inside a bedroom with a tan-colored powdery substance on the floor, and drug pipes and several plastic baggies scattered across the room. Officers said a loaded and cooked gun was also visibly hanging out of a bag on the bed. Authorities also reported strong odor of natural gas and found 2 gas heaters running unattended. During an inspection of the backyard, officers saw dead birds, a rat, an opossum where the toddler and his 2 siblings lay. Lara was charged with child endangerment, and the toddler was placed in the care of another person through Child Protective Service. You know, I don't understand here today, folks, here May 6th, year 2014, presented by Veteran Monitor Home Security Automation, $0 down, up fees and parts security. Learn more at AT&T.com. You know, how does a parent let their own child play with a machete? A real machete? I mean, what was this guy thinking, really? Was there any other reason for him here to danger his child? A toddler, folks, a toddler, with a dangerous weapon. This child could have easily stabbed himself here. This child could have killed himself using this machete. But the parent here, I blame both parents for not being responsible for their child. Putting their child in danger, and on top of that, having an odor substance in 2 heaters. My goodness. Where do the parents stand on here? I mean, a 32-year-old man here knows what he's doing, especially for his child. And I'm glad this child did not cut himself with this machete, because it would have been worse for anyone else as we speak. Then I was 201. Here we go with our next top story here. In just a moment here, we'll go back to our crime news story here today on WFA.com, here live on YouTube.com. You know, to me, folks, sometimes I'm very much curious as a person. What really stands on these guys? Really? Because this is something that should have never happened in the first place. Obviously, not a good idea. Not really. So here we go with the next one here. And our next one presented by Toys R Us. Moreover, Road Deals Family Bike Shop. From where to go to ToysRUs.com. So here we go with the next story. Here looks like we're having some more technical difficulties here live on YouTube.com. So here we go with the next top just a moment. I'm glad to bring it to you just a moment. You know, I'm thanking and blaming the parents here because they put their child in danger. You really not supposed to put your innocent toddler, your own child, in danger. These little kids here, these little toddlers, they don't know what a machete is. They don't know what a knife is. They don't know what a pocket knife is. They don't even know what a weapon is. There was a weapon there? I mean, come on, really? Really? Come on, man. You know, this is something, folks, that I really just don't get. I'm telling you, this is something to. It shocks me, and I'm very much, let's just say, appalled. I'm very much appalled with it because this is something I will not let any innocent child touch. I'm telling you, this is ridiculous. I think both of these parents should suffer the consequences being put behind bars, if I may add, because that's what they need. They don't need no other opportunities here, folks, to. They truly don't. And I'm just sitting here wondering what was this man thinking? His kid could have easily cut himself. Used to cut anything. They find two dead birds, which I'm guessing these guys must have. House was no. Okay, here we go. One weapon to cut. But they do not let a child, a toddler's me, touch a dangerous weapon. And these people, they put their daughter in danger. Now, as I said once again, they took away their child. So here we go. Our next topic leaves a teen paralyzed. Fort Worth, Texas. Cash and other payments. 6 years old was paralyzed in June 2013 crash. Then a 16-year-old eating in couch killed 4 people south of Fort Worth. Molina was riding in the back of his pickup truck. The story was first reported by the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, a FA media partner. Molina's family and other victims filed lawsuits against Couch's family and their family company, Cleveland Metal Works. Many of the states have been some of the key details in murder. $4 in cash. 800 his family $9,500 is also expected to be paid forward the family's ongoing illegal attorney fees, according to the file. News 8 reached out to a number of the attorneys involved in the case, but hasn't yet to hear back. Couch was only sentenced to probation and rehabilitation by a juvenile judge in December. His defense team has an expert witness claim the young man was a victim, spoiled to such an extent by his parents that never before he has faced legitimate consequences for his actions. The legal turn turned to phrase sparked national outrage. The world is not ever to take their eyes off him. Not when count them. A car belonging to Mitchell's. Their families have been all have also their civil cases through trial. You know, to me, that very much off of what really happened. But if anything, and if any wouldn't have done to an issue, you know, maybe a free man in North Texas, but it's not that. This kid deserves behind bars. I'll tell you that right now. And that's the way I see it right now so far. And let me tell you why. Because what he did here, south of Fort Worth, will, will never something shouldn't have happened in the first place. How much from the Couch family? I mean, authorities here in the state of North Texas going to put their foot down and say, "Look, this young little man here is a murderer. He's an assassin, and he should be charged with capital murder, which means put him behind authorities. We do not need to see Mr. Kelch be a free man. This young little boy does not deserve the freedom. Man here paralyzes a 17-year-old add on top of that. This now where at show up on time. Driver tanks. Can seen this out there right now because really, I blame family parents once again. I'm blaming my okay. That's what I'm bringing again to the point. And this young man needs help. The attorneys are charging this family too much, millions and millions of dollars from out of their pockets. How can they afford this? How can they this family has got to take care of the special little boy. He's paralyzed, and I truly do feel sorry and bad for him. He should have never suffered these consequences. Sergio Molina did not deserve to be paralyzed in North Texas. No. I blame the Couch's family here once again. Mr. Couch is scaring me. be a free man right now, son, but you're willing to be put behind bars for the rest of your life. Because with 2 days for victims here and south of Fort Worth, you took away their life. You ran them over. You had a Hispanic teenage boy in the back of your pickup truck, which I'm guessing this be put bars, and I truly it doesn't get any better than this right now in North Texas. It really doesn't. It doesn't get any better than this because you really how you're supposed to know who you trust you. I mean, locations. You tell me. I don't trust no one. I truly don't trust anyone because really, I thought what happened to this poor man. To this, did I think he deserved to be paralyzed life? No, he did not. Did not deserve to be paralyzed, folks. Deserved to be a free young something like they were supposed to. But now that was taken away from him because of the couch. 18, thanks to 18 young man here, as I say once again, Sergio Molina. He might not be able to walk again. And I truly do feel bad for him, and really bad because he did not deserve to be in that pickup truck. But Couch, Couch just said, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want to do. No, wrong. The parents are blamed here. They spoiled this little man like if they was their own warrior. Do not be driving. If you cannot seem to take care of your own self or the rest of your friends inside that vehicle, do not drive. Just don't. Parents, do not even give your daughter the license to drive your vehicle because she might what? She might crash it or she might run over some innocent bystanders. Same thing for the teenage boys who are 16 years old. You don't deserve to be driving, period. How can we trust you out here in the streets of North Texas, the freeways? We can't trust you. You'll probably go to a liquor store and buy some alcohol and say, I'm going to be driving the inference of alcohol. I'm going to run over an innocent person, hit and run. Well, guess what? You don't need to be driving. And parents, you need to sit your foot down with your child. You truly do. You truly do need to sit the foot down with your child and tell them, look, you're not going to drive. Period. I don't want you driving. You really don't. Because you're really right now, as I said once again, as I'm sitting here reading the story, this is very much surprising me. It really is at some point. No, I mean it really is. Because I cannot seem to think how in the world did this even happen in the first place. How did it happen? I don't know. Happened so the night of last year, 2013? Really? I wonder what Ethan Couch was doing at that time. Let's see. He got out of school that day, I'm guessing, and he told his parents, let me borrow the vehicle. I'm gonna take myself to school. Yeah, he took himself to school, but before he left, he probably offered this young man, a ride home or whatever he did. Where was his plan to go at that time where this kid was paralyzed? I don't know. Where could he have done to this kid? I myself, like I said, I cannot figure it out any more than you. I'll tell you that right now. We'll take a break here. Coming next, we'll continue talking more about our local news here. Don't forget TCMB on scene on the tour run July 22nd in AT&T Stadium. Buy tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. We'll come back here next live on YouTube.com. We're back. So here we go with our next top story here, and let's see here. I guess we'll go ahead and talk about this one. Go to our next crime story here. And this is about another one here. It happened another shooting on Highway 114th. You know, this is like the fifth or sixth time we had a shooting again on Highway 114th in Irving, Texas. We're not for sure why it's continuing to happen. We'll get into here in just a moment here. Now it's 2:26 here on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Temperature summer on Dallas, 83 degrees. Not bad to start up in 83. This one a little bit more like 94, I'm guessing, around there, because it was kind of humid out there around so far. And then we'll get into some weather also here in just a minute. We'll get into some sports also here in just a moment. Let's get our story. Let's get our next top news story here in just a moment here on our WFAA crime page, news page. Excuse me. So, you know, like I was saying here just a while ago about Mr. Couch, this kid needs to be not walking a free man. Does not need to be put behind a rehabilitation center because there's nothing wrong with him. He's a normal student like anyone else here. So here we go. Driver shot on a highway in 114 in Irving, Texas. We'll see how that started out. Talk about it here in just a moment here. You know, to me it's obvious sometimes, folks, that we're not safe on the highways either. Why is this continuing to happen? I'm not so sure why. I really don't know why it's continued to happen. Why did it happen? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure why it happened. We'll get into it here in just a moment. But to me, as you may add, you know, sometimes you're pretty much wondering yourselves, am I even safe? So here we go. This happened, I'm guessing, yesterday. Cinco de Mayo. It was published just yesterday. Here, we'll get into here. Presented by from 1-800-Flowers.com. Get $10 off for $39.99 or more. Shop now at 1-800-Flowers.com. Also, get $100 towards purchase of a PC for $599 or more. Go to details. More, go to Microsoft.com. Irving, Texas. A DeSoto woman was shot while driving along Highway 114 in Irving last Friday. Crystal Betty uses the freeway 5 times a week on her way to work near the University of Dallas. That's where she was last Friday. It was around 9:40 p.m. As she sailed through the westbound lane, she heard the familiar sound of tires popping. I saw somebody had a flat tire on the other side of the street. I thought I got hit by debris, Betty said, but it was actually a gunshot. It was a bullet that went through her windshield in her own body. The next thing, I felt the glass right in my eye. Then after that, I looked down. I had a hole in my hand, she said. Part of the bullet was lodged near the base of her thumb. It will take 3 weeks to heal, but the rest of it kept flying right into her passenger seat. She is grateful no one was sitting there that night. This is the 3rd time in a month a motorist or their vehicle has been struck by gunfire in North Texas. The other 2 incidents happened on Interstate 20. Police don't know if these shootings are connected. In each case, the person driving had no clue who fired the shot. And I quote, "I don't know where the bullet came from. I know nothing," Betty said. But she does know how close she came to being hurt. Much more than this. This could have been my life. I don't know what to do. I don't want the next person to go through what I went through, she said. If you have any information about this case, contact the Irving, Texas police. You know, folks, sometimes this is the weirdest, strangest thing ever. You know, she's going to work. Okay, she gets out at what, 9:40 last Friday. She was on the westbound lane. She saw a guy had a flat tire, but it was somebody fired gunshots at her. This driver could have been struck in the forehead. Like I said a couple of years ago, bullets have no names, folks. These bullets can target you anywhere part of your body. They can target you right here. It can target you right here in your head, your rib cage, your leg, your foot, wherever part of your body. Bullets have no names. My goodness, this is like the third time this is happening in North Texas. Who could be doing these rampage shootings on the freeways? I'm not so sure. Is it safe for any of us to go out there and drive on these freeways? No, it's not. If you're going to work in the mornings, make sure you, the drivers, be careful out there around the freeways. Because you never may know. Someone out there can be targeting you with a gun. This poor woman, luckily, she survived. But she had a bullet hole in her hand, which I can understand. And I don't want the next person, like you said, to go through what I went through. Now, this is the third time this has happened in North Texas, really has. Our next one here goes to a Dallas athlete that was arrested. They're being beaten to death. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. Time is 2:32. Then we'll get into some sports in here in just a moment. I've got to continue talking some local news here with you folks. Then we'll get into some international news a little while here. We got a whole bunch to talk about here today, live on YouTube.com. So here we go here in just a moment about this case that happened this year. You know, it surprises me that high school athletes are getting beaten to death to a bloody pulp. It really is. It's like the third or sixth time we had these issues going on every single time. Are high school athletes even safe to play in sports, in professional sports? No, they're not. They're really not. Because to me, as it may seem right now, this ain't the first time this happened. This ain't the second time. During spring break, we had an incident like this that happened. We sure did. This is not the